Hi, I am Roz Jones, the CEO and owner of Jacksonville's Best Caregivers, where we provide 4 levels of specialized care to your loved one: sitter, homemaker companion, home health aide, and certified nursing assistants. When you can't do it all, you give us a call. So I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the virtual Thanksgiving 2020, virtual Thanksgiving 2020, and what are some of the things that we may need to look at even before we travel or while we are celebrating Thanksgiving at our home or with someone else. So as we're thinking about Thanksgiving, as we are, approaching that time, if you all really, really don't need to travel because of the surge of virus, not only myself, but also too, the CDC is asking, please, ma'am, please, sir, don't travel if you don't have to. And if you do travel, and before you do travel, I meant to say, what are the risks? What are the risks of you traveling and going to celebrate Thanksgiving or whatever holiday you're going to do during this time? Thanksgiving, New Year's, Christmas. When you go, number one, where are you going? Will you be creating a risk, more of a risk, because of the virus and also because of flu season? And where are you going? Are the people there older and at higher risk? This is something you need to think about as you are making the choice, and while you still have an option to make a decision whether or not you are going to travel. So number one, we need to look at whether or not where you're going, is it going to be safe? Where you're going, are there older people? Are there people, who already have high blood pressure, diabetes, COPD? Are any of the people at the residence diagnosed with some type of disease? If they are, and for whatever reason, let's say no. Let's say no. I know that we have been isolated and away from our family for months, but at this time, if you are thinking about traveling and where you're going to travel to, a lot of the people are sick or have, something is wrong. Let's do it virtually. Let's think wisely as we think about Thanksgiving, because I would rather do it virtually and wait till next year and know that I can see you, rather than, I'm tired of being cooped up in the house. I want to go home to see my parents. I haven't seen my parents in over a year because of the virus. I was supposed to go in the spring, but we couldn't. My brother and sister and I were supposed to go, but because my parents are older and because of the different immune compromises that my mother has, we can't go. So we just have to talk over the phone and do everything virtually. It's hard. I know it's hard. I understand it's hard. As taking care of the older population, I see the impact on them. I see the impact not as well as on the older, but then also on the families. If we can make this sacrifice for the next, I want to say 90 days to 4 or 5 months, to allow time for the flu season to get by, to allow time for, at the time of this recording, for people to get the vaccine, let's be able to celebrate with everybody next year, than to go this year, cause a problem, and we won't be able to celebrate with them next year. So number one, if you're going to visit, if you're trying to make a decision whether or not, does anyone at that location, are they sick? And if they are, no, let's do it virtually. Let's do it virtually. If you are traveling, make sure you take the COVID test. The lines are long this week because everyone is thinking about traveling, or they're having guests come over to your house. So number one, we talked about if you're going, think about who is there, who is sick. Number two, if you're going to have guests at your home, they need to take the COVID test. They need to take the COVID test before they come to your house. If they're not going to take the COVID test, then they can't come to your house. That's just it. Let's be wise with our decisions. Let's make informed decisions. I know everybody wants to gather. I know how much and how long it's been since some of us have had that human contact with our mother, our aunt, our father, our brother, sister, whoever. If we can just wait a little longer. However, if your loved ones live in the city with you and they are coming to your home, ask them to get the COVID test. And if they haven't, again, let's do everything virtually. We will have to do it virtually. Now, if when we do plan to do a virtual Thanksgiving, let's go ahead and have a little run through. Number one, they have all of these wonderful programs: Zoom, YouTube, Facebook, Go Live Meeting, Google. Everybody has some type of live platform where you can be able to have, a virtual Thanksgiving. And so, but let's have a dry run. Let's practice before Thanksgiving be here, because what's going to happen is everybody's going to bombard the airways at the same time, and we're hoping that nothing crashes because everybody's trying to get on. So let's try to get on and practice before Thanksgiving gets here. Now, as you practice on these different platforms, you have to remember that when you are practicing with family, some are on the East Coast, some are on Central Time, some are on Mountain Time, and some are on Pacific, and some are international. So when you plan your virtual Thanksgiving, you have to remember we have different time zones. So if we're eating at 6 o'clock here, it could be 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So you have to accommodate for that. So you may have some type of virtual Thanksgiving going on, but however, we may be sitting at the table having a blessing and you're still cooking over in California. We have to accommodate for that. Also, too, if you're going to do the virtual Thanksgiving, there are virtual games you could play. There are virtual table settings off you can do together. There are things virtually that you can do to still have a memorable Thanksgiving. So remember, there's virtual games. There's games that you can play, through forums as YouTube or through forums as Zoom, GoToMeeting, Skype, whatever you decide to do. But make sure you plan ahead. Make sure you plan ahead. Make sure you consider all the time zones, particularly for those of you who have family who are international. There may be a 12-hour difference, so you have to consider your 12 o'clock in the afternoon may be their midnight. Your 3 o'clock in the afternoon may be their 3 o'clock in the morning. So you have to consider the time differences, okay? Next, when you are having dinner at your house, may we also suggest that instead of doing the dishes, the china, let's do paper plates. And this is to keep down the risk of any type of infection, anything being passed on. Dishes, everybody doesn't clean the same way. Not to say that your house isn't clean, but to reduce the opportunity for anyone, catching the flu or passing on the virus. Let's everyone eat on paper plates, plastic forks, and we can throw all of that out instead of worrying about washing dishes. And then, some of that can be recycled. So if you are having a few guests and you still have to remember, you have to do social distancing and remember to wear your mask. Please, ma'am, please, sir, wear your mask. So if you're going to have a few people over, restrict how many people are coming in and remember the size of your house. If it's, if you have a small house, there's going to be fewer people. If you're a bigger house, then you may want to be able to consider, can we have it outside versus inside so that you all can have the right amount of social distancing. Okay. So we've talked about, number one, if you're going to travel, what decision you're going to make. If where the location where you're going, if they are elderly, if they are sick, I would ask that you not travel. Let's make that decision, make a wise decision, and we can plan for next year. Okay, at the time of this recording. Number two, plan in advance. Get your webcams, get everything together so that you all can have a virtual Thanksgiving. If you can't make it, you make that decision. Also, too, if you are going to use Zoom or GoToDaddy, Skype, GoToMeeting, if you're going to do that, broadcast it on your television so that you still can practice social distancing. Because if you do it on your computer, that means everybody has to get close together, and there's the opportunity of, contracting the virus. So we don't want a surge to go up. So you have to practice social distancing. you know, get, put the virtual part on the television, have a big screen monitor or something where you all will not be standing close together when you're doing the virtual piece. Okay. And then also too, we talked about as you are coming together with your family, remember the time zones. Also too, there are games that you all can play virtually. So I think I have someone online. If you could just chat with me and say hello and where you're from. And if you're a caregiver, if you guys are going to do virtual caregiving, or if you're going to visit, what are some of the things that you guys are implementing to make sure that you and your loved ones are saved? So also too, we talked about if you are setting the table, if you're doing that, use paper plates, uh, use plastic forks so that you don't have to worry about, are the dishes properly clean? Am I going to, pass any type of virus or anything on? Okay. Also, too, when people come to your home, make sure that, of course, they have to wash their hands before they eat. They have to wash their hands, when they come in, before they leave. I and me, this is just for my home. When we come in, we spray the bottom of our shoes with Lysol, and you may want to have flip-flops. We also too have masks at the door for those who are going to be coming in for the holidays. If you don't have a mask, you say, "Oops, I forgot." Well, I didn't forget. And also too in the bathrooms, because you're going to have company. If you decide to have company, make sure you have the spray, the wipes so they can wipe off the toilet. Take those extra precautions. And then also, too, to reduce the precautions, you know how we used to just set the food on the table and everybody would kind of dive in? Have one person fixing the plates. Have one person fixing the plates so everybody's not in the pots. Have one person fixing the meals for everybody. Okay? So once that meal is fixed, you set that plate there, they're 6 feet away, they get their plate. The next person, they're standing 6 feet away, they're telling you what to eat. These are just some of the precautions you have to take. Virtually with your family to continue to celebrate, as I talked about, when they have virtual games, you all can decorate for Christmas. You all can sing. There's a lot of things virtually you can do. You can do gift wrapping parties. You can do the vision. You can have a vision board party. There are a lot of things that you can do. Storytelling, so far as doing your family tree. There are a lot of things that you can do through virtual Thanksgiving that you think, well, it's not going to be fun. But if you plan ahead, that's the biggest thing I'm trying to tell you, is to plan ahead and to ask you to stay at home. That's the biggest thing I'm asking. If you don't have to go and you can just hold on a little while longer so that the numbers don't surge after Thanksgiving and put us even more into a critical crisis. Also, too, speaking of that critical crisis, if you go and travel to an area that has a high surge of the coronavirus, you also want to think about that too, because the hospitals are already to capacity. So think about that. Make sure that where you're traveling is, that there's not a high peak, a high surge of the coronavirus. So we have talked about a lot of things. Just a quick recap to make sure that you guys understand how important this is to make the right decision about your virtual Thanksgiving. The first thing is, if you don't have to go, don't go. Set it up, plan in advance, get on Zoom, Skype, GoToMeeting, Google Meeting, whatever type of meeting place you can go to be able to get the virtual piece. Plan ahead. Make sure that you understand about the different time zones. Make sure that you understand about the different time zones so that if you are doing the, virtual part, that you're not leaving out any family members so that everybody can see everybody. Okay. What else can you do to make that Thanksgiving safer? Have one person to take and to fix the place. Don't have everybody line up, like it's a buffet. And this is also to reduce the opportunity so that your Thanksgiving is safe. Okay. Then also to use paper plates. Make sure you have hand sanitizer. Make sure in the bathroom there's enough wipes, enough paper towels, enough Lysol. Just these extra things if someone happens to be coming over. But the best thing is for this Thanksgiving is to do it virtually. Do your serving on paper plates so you can throw it away. Also to do your virtual games, plan in advance. So these are just some of the things. And I just was, double checking and looking, make sure you still wear your mask. You practice your washing your hands for 20 seconds, wearing your mask, maintaining your 6 feet. Um, if you're going to someone's place, they say bring your own utensils, but use paper plates so you don't even have to worry about carrying that stuff. Because sometimes you may bring china and it'll get broken. You'll be upset. Oh, I brought my china. You guys upset somebody dropped it. Bring just whoever the hostess is with the mostest. Make sure that you have paper plates, plastic forks, whatever, and make sure that one person is serving the food, dipping into the pots and everything instead of having a line going through. So that reduces the opportunity for any type, anything that, may happen as you are, serving yourself your food. And also too, then before everybody leaves, make sure they wash their hands. And then after everyone leaves, make sure you clean thoroughly before, you clean thoroughly after, spray everything down with Lysol. These are just some of the things that you need to do for your virtual Thanksgiving. So if you have any other suggestions that I did not make, please put them in the comment section. Please let me know if you are going to celebrate virtually or if you're going to celebrate in person. To celebrate in either virtually or in person, because I don't have all the answers. I don't have all the, there may be some great suggestions, but remember that virtual Thanksgiving this year, make sure that you practice the proper, who's this? Hey, Miss Sharon, how are you? Thank you so much for coming on. I'm so excited. But make sure, however you celebrate Thanksgiving, that you continue to practice wearing your mask, have your hand sanitizer, keep the social distancing. If you are going to someone's home and they are elderly, don't go, stay home. If you're going to a city that has a high rate of the COVID virus, don't go. Do it virtually. Do everything virtually. Plan in advance. Schedule your virtual Thanksgiving videos, however you're going to do it in advance. Schedule it in advance. Remember, you have 2 different time zones. If you're going to serve the food and you have people coming over, don't do a buffet line. God knows, please don't do a buffet line. Let one person serve and the other person stand 6 feet away and tell you what they want on the plate. Please, please, so that we don't, anything that we don't want anything to happen. Practice safe distancing. Please, please, please. Okay. So I just wanted to say that. I just wanted to come on and thank you, Sharon, and everybody else who has come on and watched this live about virtual Thanksgiving. I hope that you all have a great holiday, but I just wanted to come on and talk about the traveling. If you have to travel, to someone's house, make sure that you get there early enough to quarantine. Make sure you plan in advance. Make sure that wherever you're going, that they're going to use paper plates. And if not, pick up your own paper plate. So when you go in, you'll have your own stuff. Make sure you have your mask, your hand sanitizers. If you're traveling by car, make sure that you have your snacks so that you don't have to stop or at a restaurant. If you do have to stop, go through the fast food restaurant. Don't go inside. There's going to be a high volume of people traveling. And if you're traveling to a city that has, a high surge of the COVID virus, think about it before you go. Let's do it by, virtually. I would rather for us to go ahead and make this sacrifice this year so that we can see our loved ones next year. That's the biggest thing. uh, suggest to you to, yes, to go outside. I did talk about that. You know, that if you can have your activity outside, your Thanksgiving, do it outside. So yes, we've talked about that. So if there are any other suggestions, like I said, that I did not cover, let me know. We will put them in our YouTube channel, or we'll put them on the Facebook page, Jacksonville's Best Caregivers. But we just wanted to give awareness and make this announcement about how to do your virtual Thanksgiving. Remember to follow CDC guidelines. Remember, if you're going to travel, make sure that you quarantine yourself before you come into contact with anybody else. So I just wanted to come and say that. I want to tell you all, thank you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching the videos, your comments. They have helped so many other caregivers. So please continue to comment. Please continue to give your suggestions, because these help other caregivers and other people who are watching who will be potential caregivers understand the importance and some of the things that they may need to handle, or that they understand that other people have gone through some of the same uh, situations and problems that you have gone through as a caregiver. So once again, I am Roz Jones, the CEO and owner of Jacksonville's Best Caregivers, where we provide 4 levels of care to your loved one: sitter, homemaker companion, home health aide, and certified nursing assistant. When you can't do it all, give us a call. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next live stream. But thank you so much for being a part of our channel and subscribing. You guys have a great day. See you on the next live. All right. Bye.